We are live. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum. Let me post my tweets. Yeah, Yeller looks good, man. Even got the alert on my phone, folks. So if you don't have the alerts, then that's on you. Touchdown balls. All right. Nice throw. Aguilar looks good, man. Okay. Welcome to the voice of college football, Missouri Tigers. I am Zach Ramelius here every week as per usual. We're talking Mizzou. We're talking Louisiana as the Tigers get their start out the season 3-0 with a 52-10 win over the Raging Cajuns. I thought Mizzou played really well. I think Mizzou's played 12 quarters of football this season. I think they've played really damn well in 11 of them. So we're going to talk about it all right now here at the Voice of College Football. Missouri Tigers post-game live. Want to start off by saying I hope that kid from Louisiana is okay. That was scary. Kind of got Caden Green's body weight on top of him. And I hope he's okay. Had to get carted off, and a bit of the reason why this game took a little bit longer, unfortunately. What else do I want to talk about to start off today? Mizzou, 3-0. Third year in a row. That's been the case. It's always good. You know, you're halfway. This isn't the goal. But after the first 3 years, it's COVID year doesn't count, but 2021 and 2022, and they didn't get the bowl eligibility until like the last minute. You know, you're already halfway there. It was still two very winnable games. Games you should be double-digit favorites in on deck. But yeah, Mizzou 52, Louisiana 10. But my first thing I wanted to talk about here, live at the Voice of College Football, is under Eli, we really haven't seen games like this. The FCS game is one thing. We have seen that in an FCS game. We saw him do it to like Murray State. But I'm even thinking to the 2023 team. When that team played Middle Tennessee, they won by 4. They beat Memphis by 7. South Dakota, they didn't really rock either. It wasn't until conference play that team really started to roll over teams like Tennessee and South Carolina, and the second half against Kentucky, Arkansas, obviously. Doing it even we'll see how good Louisiana is or how good Louisiana isn't. They're on their backup quarterback. They have their third string quarterback. I know has some packages that they like to put him in. But so we'll find out how good the Raging Cajuns are. I think the running backs are pretty good. It's just hard to say, but they went out there and 3 drives in. It was like, all right, this game's over. Like, I was never scared Mizzou was going to lose this game, but it was very clear, like, okay, like Mizzou, this is special. Like, this is going to be an ass kicking, and it was for 60 minutes. Mizzou again with 200-yard rushers, just like last week. Limited Jamal Roberts today. So we'll see how he is moving forward. Marquise Davis had a big game in the second half. But yeah, I mean, look, this isn't going to be a super long post-gamer because the Tigers did exactly what the Tigers are going to do. And I don't want to talk about South Carolina too much. They have a huge game tonight against Vanderbilt. We'll see how that goes. Definitely going to be tuned into that one, and then we'll talk about them on Monday. But Mizzou does get the win, 52-10. They're 3-0 for the third straight season. And they did it what you wanted to do. No injuries. They both got killed a couple times. We'll talk about that. No injuries, nothing goofy happening. The only kind of wayward moment was that end of the half drive when Prebula missed a couple of throws. and he missed Norfleet really badly. What should have been a walk-in touchdown. And the kicker misses and Robert Meyer misses a field goal, but we'll touch on all that here. But the most important thing, man, like no stress, no anxiety after 10 minutes. It's like, oh, okay. All right, cool. Like we're just going to, like if I didn't have to do this, I probably wouldn't have watched a ton more of that game because it's like, oh, all right, cool. Like I might not learn all that much about Mizzou, and that's a good thing. You only literally learn bad things in games like this. So good on the Tigers. First thing I want to get to, talking about the team, the offense, and mostly Ahmad Hardy, dude. When they got him out of the portal, like people had to have been excited. And he was awesome at Louisiana Monroe last year. But there's always a concern when you take that step up that things might go a little haywire. That there has to be that concern. We've seen it happen plenty of times, but not for him, man. He comes out today. He's been great through 3 weeks. 22 carries, 250 yards, 3 touchdowns. Broke up a 71-yarder where he shook like 6 tackles. It was just an unbelievable game. Also in the run game, Marquise Davis, 20 carries, 113 yards, 1 touchdown. Jamal Roberts, 8 carries for 46 yards. All in total, the Missouri offense ran for 427 yards. And again, that's not really even Bo getting into the run game action. He had 6 carries for 5 yards, along with 14. And to be honest, in a game like this, probably don't want him running the ball too much. You probably want him to keep passing the ball. Which today was his worst game passing. We'll touch on that here in just a moment. But the run game, I thought across the offensive line, they looked really, really good. No real terrible breakdowns, nothing I didn't notice anything alarming with the offensive line except for the one missed assignment where they got Bo killed on a blitz right up the middle and he just got smacked. Kirby Moore is doing a hell of a job, man. These offenses, these defenses, South Carolina, Auburn, Alabama, Oklahoma, a lot of these teams, the defenses, you're going to be looking at a lot right now. He's putting a lot on tape for these teams to see. And my guess is, because I think Kirby Moore, maybe last year was a bit of an aberration. 2023, you see a lot, but then he has counters off of his counters, So Ahmad Hardy in this offense, they're going to be able to run the ball. Except for a couple throws, Bo looked pretty good passing the ball again. He did throw his first pick. I'm not too worried about it. It was a really nice play by a linebacker. He made the right choice. It was just a bad throw. I can live with that every once in a while. I can live with 1 interception every 3 games. Just don't make it a habit, obviously. But no, I thought Bo played really well. He seemed poised. He seemed protected. What I like that he does, and Brady Cook did a nice job of this too, is once you know you're the better team, don't force anything. When you're ramming it down their throats, running the ball at will, you don't need to force anything. Take it slow. Don't need to push something down the field that's not there. And they really didn't. He knew his running game was going to get 6-7 yards. He knew he could just make the easy throws. Kevin Coleman, with another nice day, 8 catches for 84 yards. That is something that's getting a little alarming to me. That might be something we need to keep an eye out in the future, is how much they are targeting Kevin Coleman. I mean, the Tigers completed 17 passes today, so basically half of them went to Kevin Coleman. Now, a couple of them were inside, the little inside touch passes from NCAA. So I think they did 2 of them. I believe they did 2 of those. Yes. So he really 6 catches for whatever amount of yards. Need to see a little bit more out of the rest of these receiving crew. Brett Norfleet kind of kept off the board today. He should have had a touchdown, but Bo just missed the throw. So Jamal Roberts had the 39-yard scamper on the touchdown, but I'm getting a little nervous offensively about what the rest of this team is going to look like at receiver. Someone different has stepped up every week. In a game like this, he didn't really need anybody to step up. You kind of could just run the ball willy-nilly on them, and they did. So moving forward again, and Josh Manning made a really nice effort on a really nice ball thrown by Bo. It just couldn't get a foot down. So we'll just have to see moving forward what receiver steps up. Marquise Johnson had a touchdown catch. Lucky that he got that ball across because Kevin Coleman went in the media last week, and after that 50-yard scamper he had at the end of the half to set up the game-tying field goal against Kansas, he said he didn't reach out because he's coached not to do that. And then Marquise Johnson does and fumbles it, but got extremely lucky that he did not get caught, because that was a touchdown. And what makes me even scarier about that than a touchdown is the fact that Bo was going for a tackle. It's one of those things dude, just let it go. It's fine. We appreciate the effort, but we're running the ball at will. If he gets hurt there, I swear to God, I'm not on this show right now. But that is, I think, everything I want to touch on with the Missouri offense. I thought the Mizzou offense did a really nice job today. 600 yards, the offensive line punished, they were able to play Matt Zollers for basically a whole half. And he didn't really do a whole heck of a lot. He fumbled one handoff, 2 for 2 for 5. He didn't do anything. They kept giving the ball to Davis and Haygood. Davis, 20 carries for 113 yards. Kid's big, man. He's definitely the third string running back, especially if Tavoris Jones can't play. I guess all I wanted to touch on with the offense is we're here at Missouri Tigers post-game live, recapping the 52-10 win over the Louisiana Raging Cajuns. I think Gabe at Power Mizzou said it best, man. Because someone was like, why are we scheduling this team? And Gabe said, this is a team that's won. This is a program, Louisiana. This is a proud program. They've won 10 games 4 out of the last 6 years, including 10 games last year. It's a good program that has a lot of pride, and you just showed up and beat them to death with club hammers. Defensively, for the Missouri Tigers, I thought Zion Young was unbelievable. Here's my issue with the Mizzou defense watching it and why I can't do no announcers, because sometimes I do like doing no announcers, especially if I have people over, my mom came over to watch the game. The only thing I don't like about it is the way Damon Wilson wears his Zion Young wears their jerseys, because Wilson's number 8, Young number 9. I can't tell which is which. They're very similar body types. So, but I thought both of them had incredible games. Damon Wilson had a sack and 4 tackles. Where did Zion 2 tackles for a loss? I thought both of those DNs did an unbelievable job. I would like to see more Darius Smith moving forward, but it's kind of hard to peel those two off the field if they are touchdown Georgia. If those two are going to play like that. I thought Khalil Jacobs had a great game. Stephen Hall had the pass interference penalty called against him. He was able to rebound and made another couple plays on that same possession, including a pass deflection. The Missouri defense today, Louisiana had 121 total yards. If you want to be even more specific about it, they had – how many first downs did they have today? They had 4 first downs. They went 1 for 11 on third down. If you take away an 84-yard scamper, minus 80, if they had 37 yards on 22, 36 plays. That'll do. The 84-yard, 2 linebackers collided into each other. Kind of a freak thing. Even in these kind of games, guys, people are going to make plays. And Perry, the kid from Louisiana, made a play. And he's a good running back. We talked about him over the offseason and on Monday. So 5 carries, 86 yards for him. But, again, you take away that 84-yard run, he had 4 carries for 2 yards. The Louisiana quarterbacks today, it is their backup. And Lunch Winfield is the third string and more of a gimmick quarterback. If you're a Mizzou fan, if you remember, Marvin Zanders, I believe was his name, 2016. Kind of a gimmick quarterback, but they combined 2 for 14 for 4 yards, 0.3 yards per attempt. Just not the best game for those two. I mean, they had 2 catches, one for one, the 2 receptions today. One went for -1 yards and one went for 5 yards. I didn't realize it was that bad watching the game until you see like the stats keep popping up. But I thought the Missouri defense was awesome today. I thought Norwood had a really nice game. Like, you made a Louisiana team that's probably still, they might make a bowl. I'm not sure. Like, with the Sun Belt, it's hard for me to be like, well, they're not going to. If they end up at 3-9 or 4-8, they did already lose to Rice with a backup, and they have a backup quarterback. So maybe like, okay, they struggle, but like, this is Louisiana team that's made a bunch of bowl games recently. They could still be like a 7-5 team, and you made them look like Central Arkansas. You made them look like that's what good teams do to the bottom of the conference. There's still a couple things that unnerve me. Again, defensively, we haven't seen the corners really play elite wide receivers yet, and they'll get Nick Harbor next week. I don't want to get too much again into South Carolina because, like, we'll see them play Vandy tonight, and that's going to be a tough test for them because Vandy has looked good through 2 weeks, and South Carolina has kind of looked, I won't say they've like struggled, but they just haven't been as dynamite offensively as you would hope from a team led by a guy that's getting first-round quarterback hype in Sellers. But you have to be encouraged if you're a Mizzou fan about this defensive line. And I thought Corey Batoon, after I kind of ripped him last week, had a nice game plan. Again, the touchdown, 2 linebackers bump into each other. There's not a lot really you can do about that. I think Corey Batoon's his defenses have done a really nice job always on 3rd down. But 121 total yards. That's really impressive by this Missouri, especially considering they didn't force any turnovers. They had the one last week. Oh my God, Holstein just got killed by that linebacker. Ooh, Rich Rods. No, my TV remote. But I think you have to be encouraged if you're them going into next week. Now, next week is huge. They kept talking about them during the broadcast, like, how good Mizzou looks, yada, 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 like they can make the playoff. And I agree. I think Mizzou's looked really good. If you win that game and you're 4-0 and you got UMass, so you're going to be 5-0. Then you get a bye week, and some things are going to happen during the bye week. You're looking at potentially being a top 15-ish level ranked team and you're top 15 in SP plus. We'll see how they are in the other ratings, but next week's might be the biggest game for Eli, like early season game, since that I don't know, like that Kansas State game was pretty huge. Because, like, if you lose that Kansas State game, I don't think 23 happens the way it does. And, even if you go 8-4 or something that year, like, is Eli still here? Does last year's 10-win season happen? Probably not. But this is a huge one. So I won't call it the biggest game of Eli's career, at least like early season. Because, like that Georgia game in 2023 was massive. Last year's game against Texas A&M or whatever. If you can win next week, you're looking at a top 15 rating when Bama comes to town because you're not going to lose to UMass, and you're obviously not losing to bye week. Some Mizzou teams have tried 2016, 2021, but and it's 11 a.m. kick, and that atmosphere in Columbia is going to be raucous. So for Mizzou, I'm glad they took Bo out. I think you could have taken him like a series out sooner. Like, I don't think. It's one of those things where I'm just like, I don't know if you needed to keep him in for 52 or for 45 because I don't think, like, if you're in the playoff hunt, if they only beaten Louisiana 45-10, they're team 11 and whatever. But next week sets up to be huge. I thought the offensive line played really, really well today outside of one missed blitz pickup. Again, hard thing with Louisiana is I watched some of their game against Rice. I talked about this Monday because Rice picked off. Oh, my goodness. Oh, Pitt. Because Rice has a really fun offensive scheme because of their coach used to coach at Davidson, which was cool. And he ran the ball 100,000 times a game, and it was just super sick. But I just hadn't watched a ton. I didn't watch much of the game. I didn't watch any of their game against McNeese State. I'm not going to pretend I'm a big X's and O's guy. But we'll find out how good or bad they are. But look, you got the win. You're 3-0, and you looked incredible doing it. I remember all offseason we talked about this game. We talked about this Louisiana game, not because we were like, oh, they might lose it, as my cat makes the glare. One of my cats makes the glare a little better, worse. But it was the concern that, look, this is a proud program that won 10 games last year. They had a 5-star kid, commit to them. How are you going to look when you play them in between Kansas and South Carolina? You have the big the rivalry renewed game against Kansas, and then you have your revenge game against the Gamecocks. How are you going to look? And they looked awesome. Would it have been different if Walker Howard's in there instead of the 2 quarterbacks they had today? Yeah, probably. But he doesn't play defense, and I don't think the Louisiana. I mean, how many punts did Mizzou have today? 1. I thought Mizzou did exactly what you need to do in a spot like this. You just need to get out, especially in between last big emotional win last week, because of how it unraveled. Last week was a big emotional win, and then you have. If you slow down this game, you can't let guys breathe, then you're in a little bit of trouble. And then you have a big revenge spot against South Carolina, because that was an incredible football game last year. And it's 2 good teams that this is a big game for both teams. South Carolina has a big – I think the game against Vandy tonight became bigger than I think we all thought it would be, because Vandy looks really good. Now, South Carolina kind of was the only team to put a whooping on Vandy last year. So and that was in Nashville. So we'll see. But it's a good team, and they have playoff hopes. Their schedule's brutal, so this is a must-win for them. For Mizzou, if you want to make the playoff, with what you have, this is a must-win at home. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun next week. This is going to be Hardy's first SEC game. And we'll see how he does when we get to that point. As far as college game day is concerned, I don't know. I think it's going to depend a lot on what they want to do. I know Nebraska fans are pushing Michigan, Nebraska next week. I don't think they're going to do a Michigan game twice in 3 weeks. That doesn't really make much sense if they were to do that, especially since Michigan. I didn't watch any of it. I mean, the score was impressive, and I saw highlights of Bryce Underwood. Maybe they go to Illinois, Indiana. There's a very distinct chance they do that. Not ruling that out, but I think it's a good chance Mizzou gets it. If they don't, then just keep winning football games, man, and maybe you get it against Bama. Although I doubt it. I think Illinois, Ohio State's that day, so probably not. Although they're probably also getting Big Noon, so who knows? It's a big one next week. We'll talk about it a lot on Monday when we especially have another data point against a second Power 5 team or Power 4 team for South Carolina. That's what you got on deck, guys. I don't really have a lot more to say. Mizzou did exactly what you want them to do in this game. They came out, they punched him in the throat, and they won a football game 52-10. Hardy was as advertised, 22 carries, 250 yards. He had a 71-yard touchdown scamper. Even if you take that carry away, that's 21 carries for 148 yards. That's a productive day in and of itself. He was unreal, and he's an unreal running back, and he's going to need to bring his A game against South Carolina. Everyone's going to need to bring their A game against South Carolina. So, with that being said, I think I'm going to wrap it up here. Enjoy Georgia, Tennessee, some of these SEC games. Like the SEC slate's getting going for Mizzou begins next week. We will be live Monday night. I'm also feeling sick, guys. Not gonna lie to you. So I know we're cutting it short. We will be live Monday to talk about the South Carolina game. We'll add another note for South Carolina. You can follow me on Twitter at PsychoZ50 if you want to see more of my ramblings throughout the day. Thank you guys all for being here, watching, commenting. Like, this thing's only going to go up, and I'm super excited for next Saturday. Like, I'm more excited for this game than I was for Kansas, and I was obviously very excited for Kansas. This is a big one. You win this game, everything's on the table. Now you're 4-0. You're going to be 5-0, and you still got Mississippi State coming to town. So that's that. Barring something crazy, and I don't mean to get ahead of my skis. I understand that, but you're 6-0. You have 6 games that you'll have won because you should not lose to Mississippi State at home. You're not going to lose to UMass. You need to go 4-2 in your other 6, and you're going to make the playoff. So we'll see. Obviously, everyone should be really excited about that. It's a big one. Cannot wait. Thank you for listening to Missouri Tigers Postgame Live. We'll be back next week. We'll be back on Monday, and then we'll be back next week to talk about the Gamecocks. You all have a wonderful evening. Enjoy the games. Enjoy your NFL slate if that's what you're into. And I will see you on Monday night. MIZ, baby. 3-0 again. I didn't have a lot to say because they did everything. Like, that was basically a perfect game for the Tigers. So